Good morning, everyone. My name is B. Yowzy. I'm an LPC associate here at Frontera Healthcare Network, supervised by Dr. Richard Amos, and I'm with John Guerrero, who's a fully licensed LPC here at Frontera Healthcare Network at the Junction Clinic. I am so excited to be here with you for another Mindfulness Monday. Before we get started, I want to take a moment to recognize our incredible partners. The Wellness Uncorked initiative is made possible through the partnership with the Behavioral Health, with Frontera and the Texas Wine Auction and Frontera Healthcare Network. This initiative allows us to provide free group counseling, classes, educational seminars like this Mindfulness Monday, health fairs, and more, all designed to support the well-being of our community, especially with mental health. Today, we're going to be diving into a topic, parenting with a purpose, which is a very important subject that can help all of us improve our mental health well-being and our family dynamics in the home. So let's jump into today's slide. I'm going to begin with just giving us our agenda for today. So we're going to go through family structures, issues facing families today, parenting styles, and rebuilding the family. So these are kind of what we're going to be talking about today. So I will start us off with family structures. So all family structures is how families are created and how they are within each home. Everyone's family structure and dynamic is a little different. So all that means is everyone's family is a little different, but that doesn't mean that is a bad thing. It's just different. So we have our nuclear families, which just consist of two parents and their children living together. We have a single parent. So one parent who is divorced, widowed, or single by choice and bears the responsibility of caregiving and providing for said children. Extended, which includes relatives or the individuals beyond the immediate family. So it may be a close friend or a close colleague that has really gained trust with the immediate family and has helped a lot care for the children, keep up with things in the home. And then we have our blended family. So this arises when a divorce or widow parents remarry and combine children from previous relationships into one household. And then we have co-parenting when individual separated or divorced parents share the duties of raising children. So they normally don't live together, but they kind of share those duties. And then chosen family. So close friends are individuals who are not biologically related, but provide support like a traditional family.
All right, I'll step in here and talk a little bit about parenting styles. And I think this is really important to pay attention to because as we're talking about supporting our children's mental health and really looking out for their well-being, what we have to understand is that the parents play a huge role in that. What the parents, not only their style of parenting and how they run their households or how they teach or shepherd or help their children to grow, but just like the support that they give and how present they are in their kids' lives can have a huge impact on the kids' well-being. So here on this graphic, you see 4 different parenting styles. These are the most common. And most of us parents fall into one of these 4 categories. Yeah, I'll go through each of these and then real quick talk about how they vary in terms of control and warmth level. So at the top left, you've got the authoritative parent. This is the kind of parent who's nurturing and affectionate. They have close bonds with their children. Their children know that these parents love them. They do set healthy boundaries. They discipline their children through guidance, and there's open communication in the family. And so the kids know they can come and talk to their parents, that there's communication that's good on both ends there. The next one over is the authoritarian parent. So slightly different from the authoritative. You've got this kind of parent who's strict, maybe a little bit more inflexible. They've got high expectations, and so there is that expectation when it comes to behavior, performance, things like that. But a lot of times they punish rather than discipline their children, and so discipline doesn't come as much through guidance as more through consequences. If you'll notice in the middle of the chart here, before I get to the last 2, you've got the blue lines, and you've got the words control and warmth. So on opposite ends of the spectrum, you've got a parenting style that's either higher on the warmth scale or lower on the warmth scale, which means they're more cold, more distant, disconnected, and then higher on the control scale or lower on the control scale. So you'll notice that the authoritative parent is in the category of being both high control and high warmth. Whereas the authoritarian has that high control. So there's a lot of the control and they're in charge of the household and in charge of the children, but there's a lot less warmth there. There's a lot of that inflexibility, maybe more of a disconnect between the child and the parent. The bottom of the chart, you've got the permissive and the uninvolved. So the permissive parent is what it sounds like. Few boundaries or inconsistent boundaries, not much of an expectation, not much predictability. They tend to take the role of the friend rather than taking the role of parent. You'll notice that there's high warmth in that category. And so maybe a close bond, a close connection, parents or the children maybe like that kind of parent, but there's not much control when it comes to parenting. And then the last one is the uninvolved parent, which is both low in warmth and low in control. And so this person is emotionally detached, tends to be more self-absorbed, inconsistent or no boundaries at all, and then very little interaction with the child. When it comes to these four types of parenting, the ideal would be the authoritative parent. That we have that control, we've got that responsibility over the children, we're setting boundaries, we're disciplining them, we're guiding them, we're teaching them and instructing them, but we're doing that from a place of warmth and love and affection. I think children thrive when there is structure for them and when that structure is balanced with love and affection and there's nurturing happening in the home. So again, these parenting styles can really play a huge impact on the well-being and overall success of the children in the home.
No, I love that, John, and I love that you kind of highlighted the kind of the goal. The authoritative parent is something that should be the ideal. And I know sometimes it's hard to kind of find that balance, but I think it's great how you explained it and what the graph looks like. So thank you. So now we're going to kind of go into after we've discussed the family structures and the parenting styles, issues facing families today. So really what the research is saying is economic challenges, unresolved family conflict, whether that's in the immediate family, present things that are going on, or past things that either mom or dad or whoever's in the home brought from their upbringing or things like that that have been unresolved. Mental health crisis. We're seeing a rise not only in our families, but in adolescents to children to individuals who are seeking more mental health services, and then social dynamics and cultural changes. In the year of 2026, we're seeing a lot of this of people are more interested in discovering what is going to be the social dynamic that works for them or the cultural things they want to take from either their families, from social media, from mainstream, and kind of blending it. So this is what researchers have shown us that is happening in the family system today. So going into it a little bit more, so this study from the American Family Survey by BYU showed that in 2025, families in America indicated that 70% believe that raising children is unaffordable. According to another article from the University of Chicago, economic instability matters not only because it causes hardships for low-income families, but it may hurt children by disrupting the family routines and affecting parenting, which I can attest, and I know, John, you can attest, we see this a lot in our parent consults or just working with families where, hey, we're not really focused on our mental health. Right now, we're focused on, are we bringing in money? Are we putting food on the table? Are we paying our bills? And so when a parent or parents have to work harder and work extra hours due to financial struggles, they're out, they're more focused on that. So maybe the children can be negatively impacted by that. They're not seeing mom and dad as much, or they can feel the burden of the financial struggle within the home. And then this creates a need to work around this. So in order to do that, maintaining awareness and how the child is coping with this hardship. So talking to the family, not giving them all the details, but really checking in on everyone, making sure everyone's doing okay.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a really important point. And just to kind of tag on to that, some of those financial hardships are just unavoidable, right? That's just the economy that we live in. And so it's important to kind of have a good grasp on how the whole family is coping with those difficulties. And when you can't get away from having to work extra jobs, for example, or work extra hours, making sure that you're still paying attention to the kids and just how they're doing with your absence. When it just can't be avoided. So another issue, again, is unresolved conflict. These are some of the things that can get in the way of a family's health and vitality, and then also, of course, can trickle down and affect the children. When there's not a good handle on conflict in the family, when maybe spouses have conflict with each other, or there's conflict between parent and children, or between siblings, that can kind of breed some stress and some distress in the relationships. So you see here, often families fall on separate sides of a conflict spectrum, or kind of this continuum. So you either have on one end people who tend to be avoidant of conflict, where they just don't like confrontation, they tend to ignore problems, they don't take action to address issues between family members. That happens a lot when maybe a parent doesn't address the child's behavior, or when spouses don't address the conflict that they're having, and they kind of just sweep it under the rug. The opposite end of the spectrum is the presence of too much conflict, where there's maybe harsh confrontation or constant fighting within the family, and sometimes that can breed chaos or this really stressful environment for the child, which does affect their nervous system. So it's really helpful to have a balanced approach when it comes to conflict. There's a big difference between being a peacemaker and a peacekeeper. Peacekeepers are all about just keeping the peace, and we do what it takes to keep the peace, whether that's just kind of blowing it off, sweeping it under the rug, just ignoring the problems. Peacemakers are all about having healthy conflict, healthy confrontation. There is a way to have a healthy approach to addressing problems, and that's really necessary. It's really helpful for the family's well-being, and of course then for the children. So that means parents and children, spouses, husbands and wives, whatever it is, working together to resolve conflicts and disputes, dealing with problems instead of sweeping them under the rug, but also showing grace and compassion rather than anger. So we don't want homes that are full of harsh treatment, bitterness, rage, animosity. We want healthy conflict. And that's good for kids to see too, that there's a healthy way to resolve issues between family members.
Yeah, no, I love that. Okay. So, a little bit about the mental health crisis. So, this is something that we also see. So, it's important that parents be the best parents they can possibly be. This means addressing their own struggles, hardships, and personal difficulties. Like I said, sometimes it's not what's happening in the present family dynamic. It could be things that you are bringing, holding on to from your past or your own past family experiences, and then bringing that into your current family. So really working on that, whether that's individual therapy, working out, self-help groups, anything like that. And just being self-aware of those things. And then also, sometimes parents have their own mental health struggles. Like I said, I got ahead of myself, but that doesn't necessarily pose a risk for the child. But how you handle that and manage that, and then talking to your children, always having open communication, asking them how they're doing in school, not just academically, but mentally, emotionally, because there's other things that could be going on, and just making sure that's an open conversation within the family. And then continuing, so according to the Mental Health of America, it is how the mental health condition affects the parent's behavior as well as the family relationships that may cause risk to the child. So the age of onset, severity, and duration of the parent's mental illness, the degree of stress in the family resulting from the illness, and most importantly, the extent to which the parent's symptoms interfere with positive parenting, such as their ability to show interest in their children, will determine the level of risk to that child. So these are more towards your personality disorders, people who have more of the moderate to severe mental health issues, and dealing with that. But it can happen to anyone, even in the mild. But this is just something, if you are experiencing that, and being self-aware and talking to that with your mental health professional or your PCP, and getting a referral out to see somebody.
Yes, absolutely. And it's really important if we're going to be, helping our support our children's mental health and their mental well-being is really what we're after. Then it's important for the parents to be practicing good self-care, which is also just tending to their own mental health needs as well. It's stressful. Being a parent today is stressful. Parenting is hard, especially as they get older. When we talked about the conflict, the emotional, the economic challenges, things like that, but also just behaviorally, kids are sometimes hard to get a grasp on, and so it's really important for parents to remember you can't pour out of an empty cup. If we want to maintain our kids' well-being, we've got to maintain our well-being as well. So whether that's getting professional help, or just taking care of yourself by going to the gym, doing yoga, going for walks, making sure that you're practicing mindfulness or taking care of you're going to be able to then focus on your child's well-being.
Yeah, and kids learn by doing. They learn by seeing and observing. Hey, mom and dad are taking care of themselves. I can talk to them about, especially adolescents. hey, I see that dad's doing this. I'm going to talk to him because maybe he can help me take walks or be practice mindfulness because I see him do that in our daily life. So kids really observe by seeing what parents do.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. And then they'll learn to apply it. Okay.
Okay, so now we'll get into the strategies for rebuilding. So we talked about some of the challenges, talked about some of the things that kind of play a part in maybe sometimes the breakdown of the family, or sometimes negatively affect the children. So now we want to kind of focus on the positive and say, okay, so what can we do to fix all this? What are some things that we can be building into our family life that will affect and benefit our kids' well-being? One of the first things to do is about repairing ruptures, which really just means making things right when things go wrong. There are going to be times when even the best parents get stressed out or frustrated or snap at their kids. And so that sometimes is just unavoidable. It's part of being human. The most important thing is not that you never have one of those ruptures, but it's about making it right afterwards. Focusing on your child's well-being, especially their mental health needs, means paying attention to any worry, any sadness, any struggles they may be experiencing, and then stepping in to help them with those things. This also has to do with creating a healthy home environment. So if we look at the questions, what do you wish to be true for your home life? As you think about your home life and the kind of home environment you come home to, or that your kids come home to every single day, what would that look like for you, for your family? And then what can you as the parent be doing to help bring that vision to life? What are some choices or some daily habits or routines or structures or boundaries or just ways of being as a family that need to be put into place that will actually make that a reality for you and for your children?
Yeah, no, those are good points. And then, kind of going with the repairing ruptures, a study by Becky Kennedy says a 15-second intervention can help have a lifelong impact. So, when there is a rupture, like John's saying, it will happen. It's how we fix it, it's how we mend it, it's how we come back and say, hey, sorry, I snapped at you. I've just been really stressed out, and that was not appropriate, or, will you forgive me? Some kind of harm is done in the relationship. It's important that we take time to repair the damages. And so this is just an article kind of backing up what John says, that this does have value, this does have an effect. And it's a simple act of seeking and making sure things are right, but it has a profound impact on your child because, one, they're going to learn that you're not perfect, they're not perfect, and how to repair their own relationships with friends, family members when they're older and they're in work situations where it's not all or nothing. It's, hey, how do you repair things? How do I work through conflict in my own life, and having a good, honest relationship with them. So yes, so this is just a study that we found that really does show the impact in how great this repairing ruptures are. So we're going to continue. Okay. So this is another article about focusing on your child's well-being. So Discovery Mood and Anxiety Program, and you can click on that link, or it's in our references section of this PowerPoint, but it lists some 10 strategies for supporting children's mental health. So modeling healthy coping skills, watching for behavior changes. Hey, are they acting a little bit more short than they normally are? Maybe it's time to have a family conversation and say, hey, what's going on? It's like, oh, I've been failing a math test, or I'm failing math. I'm really stressed out. So knowing that out in the open, creating routines and setting clear boundaries. So kids thrive on routine. Kids thrive on stability. So really making sure, okay, what's our nighttime routine, or what are some clear boundaries and rules of the household? Providing positive feedback and encouragement, and talking about emotions and feelings regularly. So not hiding them, but just being honest to the appropriate level of that child's needs and age, of letting them know, hey, it's okay to be sad, it's okay to be angry, but it's how we deal with it, right, and move on.
Absolutely. Yeah. Lots of different skills and strategies. And if we're just really focusing on, again, creating that positive home environment, we're going to help ensure the well-being of our kids.
Yeah.
And then last thing here is a quote from an article from the National Institute of Health. And it says, a healthy and safe home environment is essential for promoting and protecting health and development during childhood. Children need stable, supportive social environments and access to resources within the home in order to enhance cognitive, emotional, and physical development. So just to reiterate, the kind of home environment we're creating has a lot to do with just our behavior and our routines and our habits as parents. What do we want to create for our kids? How do we ensure their well-being?
And then we have some information about how this is done. A healthy home environment will include establishing structure and routine, which reduces anxiety and the unexpected. I mean, I have that as an adult. Like, I like to know what to expect to the best of my ability. And kids appreciate that as well. Maintaining open and honest communication, which nurtures a strong relational connection between the family members, understanding each person's unique needs. So, knowing, okay, what works for one kid isn't going to work for the other one. So, really trying to understand that with compassion, love, and acceptance, being protective and addressing gaps in the problems. So, taking steps to help prevent struggles, but also responding effectively when problems arise. So, not with panic and anger, like we said, those ruptures do happen, but it's how we continue to work through them and doing that as a family unit. So, yeah. And then here are our references. So if anything really grabbed to you or something, just look through these references. This is where we got all of our information. You can click those links or look those up, and that's where you'll see the information that we gathered there.
If you're ready to take the next step in prioritizing your mental health, we invite you to attend our Thrive Connection group counseling classes, which are available for free through the Wellness Uncorked initiative. These classes will be led by Frontera's professional counselors and counselor associates and are open to individuals and their immediate family members working in hospitality, service, or the retail industries. Frontera also offers individual counseling and medical services, both in person and virtual. We take a lot of different insurances and we offer a sliding scale to make healthcare affordable for everyone. And so if you'd like to learn more, you can call this number 830-362-2185, or you can visit our website. Lastly, if you found today's session helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel so you never miss a Mindful Monday presentation. We go live on the first Monday of every month at 11 a.m. We appreciate you being here with us today, and we hope to see you next month, which will be on February the 2nd. If you have any questions or comments regarding today's topic, please drop it in the chat, and we'd love to hear from you. We hope you have a wonderful, mindful Monday.
Awesome. Bye, guys.